Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. We're here today in Vancouver, Canada at the Metals Investor Forum. Today I'm with Craig Parry, Executive Chair of Vizsla Copper. For everybody who knows me, the word Vizsla is common. We had great success with Vizsla Silver, and now the same team is going to be doing it again with a copper project that I really like up in British Columbia. So Craig, welcome to the interview. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Greg. Thanks for having us on.
So I want to let you take the interview because, the story's new to me. I'm going to be recommending it in the newsletter. I know it's a high-grade copper project, Woodjam in British Columbia. What can you tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, we know and love copper, of course. I think I've got a view that copper is going to go to $20 in this cycle in the next few years. So you must have as much copper as you possibly can, and we've got a heck of a lot of it on the property already that we acquired. Interestingly enough, this is, I think, probably the 5th or 6th metal investor forum I've been to and presented a number of times. And a couple of those companies I've presented, the first one was ISO Energy. We were here with Next Gen Energy, where I was a founder, of course. ISO Energy, when I presented here about 5 years ago, I think ISO was trading at around 30 cents. It eventually got to $5.60.
Wow.
And then Vizsla Silver, I think when I presented here, was somewhere in the sort of 40-cent range, 50-cent range. That's now gone to $3 something. It's traded off a little bit. Screaming buy right now, of course.
For sure.
And so, here we are presenting our first copper story, trading around 22 cents. We raised $6 million, which we closed earlier this week. That gives us a lot of, firepower to get out and start drilling come June. But trading around 22 cents. So,
good value.
It's fortuitous. Yes. Anytime I present here, you usually see dollars not long after. So it's a hint.
No, I'm going to be a shareholder here very soon. So
no, good stuff. But look, we've got, we acquired the project. Firstly, we spun out Vizsla Copper about 18 months ago out of Vizsla Silver. We actually started Vizsla Silver as a copper business. It was called Vizsla Resources. We're looking around the world for good quality copper projects. We came across that Panuco project in Mexico. That forced us to buy it. It was, I've never seen so much metal sticking out of the ground that hadn't been drilled. And the rest is history there. Mike and the team at Vizsla Silver are, I think, going to build one of the world's great silver mines. But we had our listing property, our Blueberry properties up here in central British Columbia. We've always liked British Columbia. I think it has an opportunity to become the next Chile in terms of copper production. Good, stable jurisdiction, very sizable deposits. Gets a little bit of a bad rap. People often say, well, BC porphyries are low grade. Well, that's not entirely true. You look at Mount Poly, a couple of 100 million tonnes at 0.6, 0.7. You've got New Afton down near Kamloops there. That's 100 million tonnes at about 1.1, 1.2% copper. So there are high grades there, and we knew that. We'd known about this Woodjam property for, many, many years. It's a little bit sort of folkloric, mythical here. Goldfields spent $30 million on the property. It's a very large property. It's about 80,000 hectares. Now, Goldfields spent $30 million, and with Glenn and Bill Morton and the team at Consolidated Woodjam, they found 5 porphyry centres out of 6 targets they tested. So that was the first hint to me that something's
going on.
I've been doing porphyry exploration for 20 years now, and I think my track record of conversion of target to discovery is about 0. Although that's not entirely true. I did find a porphyry system near Chuquicamata in Chile. But these guys, on one property, their conversion of target to discovery was 6 to 7. 6 out of every 7 targets generated a porphyry discovery. So that's fascinating, jolly. Something's
going on there.
Something's going on. So we had a deep dive, and what we found, it was in the top couple of exploration projects Goldfields had until 2013. They developed a large resource over that. All the resources pre-2013, there's about 1.7 billion pounds of copper already and 1 million ounces of gold, although there's a lot more gold to come into the resource once we do the work. based on existing drilling. But the fascinating thing for me was the high grade nature of some of these drill hits. And, in 2020, Bill Morton and the team drilled around 150 metres at 2.5 grams per tonne gold, 0.4% copper. And there's a slew of those sorts of hits. And because they put these results out during a market downturn, they couldn't do a great job of promoting it. No one was interested. Those sorts of results fell on deaf ears. So we knew that there's a heck of a lot of porphyries in this area. It's a fascinating part of the world's crust, and there's some really high grade hits. So I became sort of a little bit obsessed with the property. I said to the guys, and it took us 2 years of building a relationship up before they trusted us enough to do the deal. We merged with Consolidated Woodjam late last year. The acquisition cost for Vizsla Copper shareholders was about $11 million for all of that metal and all of this prospectivity. We've, a little bit like we've done at Vizsla Silver. If we like a project and we see a district scale potential, we'll put our foot on as much of it as we can. So we've done a number of smaller deals, one bigger deal that joins our property up with Mount Polly, which is just to the north of us. That was important to us because we there's some really good smoke on that property, and it puts us right next door to that Mount Polly pit. So I think there's some good potential on that. We've now got the district covered. Now we can go out and hit it hard with exploration.
It's a district scale play in a good jurisdiction with already high grade signature on it, and you're just going to expand this. So that's rock solid. And people know me, my subscribers know how I'm bullish mostly on gold, and right after that copper. Because it seems like a lot of those big copper mines are all long in the tooth, and it's coming to a crisis moment. The metal prices have to go higher if people want copper.
You're spot on, and that's a good way of putting it. I haven't heard someone say that before, but a crisis moment, that's coming. Fast emerging. We've spent the past 3 years, we're supply side tragics, of course, but we've spent the past 3 years kicking the tyres on several hundred copper projects globally, including producing assets. And what we found is there's not much out there. I simply can't see, the last boom we saw a 4 or 5 million tonne per annum increase in copper demand, and that drove the copper price from 70 cents to $4.60. This time we're trading around $4. We're about to see a 7 million tonne per annum demand increase, a massive absolute change, and it's impossible to see where that will come from. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think we could even see $30 per tonne.
I think when you said 20, I said that's a target I kind of have in my mind. Conservative. That's conservative, right? I don't see any other way around it if people want copper. So
no. And my old mentor and business partner Owen Hegarty, he started a company called Oxiana. Took that from a 6 million market cap to a 7 billion market cap company during the last copper boom, and doing good exploration and project development work. He was famous for saying that copper was going to go, in the early 2000s from $1 to $4. Fund managers told him he was completely mad. Well, when I went and started pounding the pavement with him in 2008, there's a lot of sort of apologetic fund managers and thanking him for the hint.
No kidding.
So we absolutely have to see higher copper prices. You need a higher incentive price to generate the development to even meet some of this demand. But the permitting, exploration and development work, that was all put on hold 10 years ago. And it's so much harder to permit a copper mine today. So, there's not going to be a quick supply response.
Nobody's going to be doing that in a quick way. So I would say, you guys are in the right place at the right time, and very exciting. Love where you're at in British Columbia. Drilling starts this summer. Right?
This summer, yep. We've got an 8,000 metre program plan. We raised that $6 million. We were sort of knocked down in the rush. We took a bit more money than we planned because there's really good interest in the story. 8,000 metre program, there'll be a few geologists looking for jobs if we don't get some spectacular drill results, because we'll be drilling in and around and looking to extend those high grade zones. And I think, if we were to report a drill hole like some of these historic drill holes, for argument's sake, 150 metres, 2.5 grams gold and 0.5 copper, that would set the market alight. So we want to generate some of that interest and get some of those sort of drill intercepts where we can, and then go on to drill a project out over the next few years.
Well, I'll get you recommended in the newsletter. We'll be watching closely, and good luck.
Really appreciate it, Greg. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the interview.